Sup nerds, here's the angel list that I took to the Dallas Regional. Starting off with our Tama, we are playing 4 Cupimon, which is probably, I would say, potentially the most important card in the deck. This basically replaces your BT14 TK, and that's really cool because you don't actually have to draw this card. So the effect is when attacking once per turn, by adding the top card of your security stack to the hand, you may place 1 Digimon card with the Angel, Archangel, or 3 Angels trait from your hand at the bottom of your security stack. So what this allows you to do is set up the primary combo of this deck, which you tuck Dom in and then Evo into him out of your security. I'll go over that at the end of the profile. But this card is very vital to set up all of your stuff. Onto our rookies, we are playing 4 Patamon from BT14. Starting your main phase, this guy can Evo into a Vaccine Digimon into your security for free, and then you can tuck a Vaccine, a yellow Vaccine, from your hand to the bottom of your security. And then the inheritable is your turn once per turn. When a card is added to your security stack, gain 1 memory. This does see the card you tuck, so you do get the memory gain off of his Evo, so you Evo for -1 memory. This guy actually getting a free Evo in this deck, yeah, that's cool, that's always nice, but the most important thing about what he does in this deck is see your security. Knowing what's in your security is very vital for setting up your combos in this deck. So like whiffing with this guy doesn't even matter. Like sometimes if I have a level 4 in my hand, I will sometimes just hard pass just so I can promote him so I can look at my security. And then we are playing 3 Luxmon from EX6. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon card with the Angel or Archangel trait, and then 1 with 3 Great Angels trait among them, put the rest on the bottom of your deck. Then when attacking once per turn, this Digimon has the Angel or Archangel or 3 Great Angels trait, draw 1. Nice little searcher, also cool because Dom protects this because he is an angel. So it's nice. The more bodies you can put on the field that are protected, the better, in my opinion, and that's kind of how I designed the list. And then we are playing 3 Pillowmons from BT9. All turns, players can't pay Digimon by effects. Obviously, we play Digimon by effects quite frequently in this deck, but this card shuts down other strategies like almost completely. Like the primary reason we put this in was for the Imperial matchup because it just shuts down their dual tamer. They have to out this guy in order to really utilize their dual tamer to its full effect. And we can also play this guy off of effects, which is really cool. So like even if they don't think we can do it, we can play this and pop their Digimon. So like it also keeps partition from happening. Yeah, but it's really good against just unfair stuff. We can do unfair stuff, but you can't do unfair stuff. And that is it. We're just playing 10 rookies. Onto our champions. We're playing 4 BT14 Angemon. Evo's on top of Patamon for 2, otherwise does Evo for 3, which does suck, but whatever. It's worth it. When attacking, by deleting this Digimon, activate one of the effects below. Place one of your opponent's Digimon with the virus trait at the bottom of their security stack, or one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 5,000 DP for the turn. And then on deletion, place this card at the bottom of your security stack, and then if you have a Tamer, you may hatch in your breeding area. That's actually pretty cool. Being able to just basically always be able to recover yourself at will if you have one of these guys out and it's not like stunned or anything is really helpful. And then the inheritable is on deletion, you place 1 yellow card with Vaccine trait from your hand at the bottom of your security stack. So this is mandatory the way it reads, but because your hand is private information, you don't actually have to do it, so it's basically optional, just so you know. And a lot of times, I'll choose not to do this unless I need to set something up in my security. That I honestly just forget that's an on deletion, but it is optional, technically. And then we are playing 3 Angemon from EX6, does have Barrier, and then the inheritable that shares with Luxmon. When attacking once per turn, this Digimon is an Angel, draw 1. This is basically the best level 4 that you can play in this deck that is still an Angel, in my opinion. You could put Gatomon in the slot, but Gatomon does cause your level 5 Evo to be 4 instead of 3. So I did my best to, 1, have basically anytime I had a board, guarantee they're all Angels, or at least almost all of them, and also guarantee on my level 4s were Angemon, so I could Evo into my level 5s for that much cheaper. And that is it. We're just actually playing 7 champions. You don't actually need to see champions in this deck. If you just see a rookie and trigger your Cupimon and then hard play the next card I'm about to show you, you're smooth sailing. You literally don't need to see a champion in this deck, which is why I was okay with playing 7. And then we are playing 4 Magna Anons from BT16. This is one of the other best cards in the deck. This is part of the Wombo combo that I'll show you guys. So he does Evo on Angemon for 3 memory. You can also Evo for 4 if you want, like if you're trying to like choke your opponent to 1 or something. This guy Evoing for 3 on Angemon is a big reason why we're playing this over Gatomon. On play / when digivolving, if it's your turn, very important, search your security stack. This Digimon may digivolve into a Digimon card with the Angel or 3 Great Angels trait among them, Digivolution cost reduced by 2. Shuffle your security stack. If you digivolve by this effect, you may place 1 Digimon card with the Angel trait from your hand at the bottom of your security stack. This entire effect sets up the primary wombo combo that you want to establish that beats basically 4 colors of the game. And then the inheritable opponent's turn, all of your Digimon with the Angel trait gain blocker. That is really helpful. Your opponent can't swing over you because you're just like, yeah, I'm going to block with this guy, block with this guy. I'm going to block with my Luxmon. Cool. Very vital. Level 5. We do want to dig for this card. Basically, you want to dig for this card, the card I'm about to show you, and then Dom every game. Most of the time, you actually will open with one or more of these like in your security or in your hand to where you don't really have to dig for one. And that's why I said knowing what's in your security is so vital. All right, so we are playing for Angelomon Ace from BT15. Obviously, she is an ace. On play, / when Digivolving, by trashing the top or bottom card of your security, minus 6,000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn on one of your opponent's Digimon. Premium DP reduction, very nice. Helps in the Magna X matchup. And then all turns once per turn, which is the reason why this card is broken in this deck. When a card is moved from your security stack, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, recover +1. So if you get her and Dom out, which obviously I'll go over his effect once we get to the Megas, it is a lock that basically forces your opponent to expend so many resources trying to do anything to your board, and this makes them expend even one additional resource each turn for each one of these you have on the field. And then we are playing a surprise level 5 that's not an angel, but he is broken. 3 Edamons from EX7. This guy does Evo for 4 on top of all of our level 4s, but he's an on-play / when Digivolving. A lot of times you will just hard play him, but until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP, premium DP reduction, we always love that. And then start of their main phase's Digimon attacks. So this taunts, I think taunt is probably one of the most broken mechanics in this game because of the existence of ace cards. You literally force your opponent to play into an ace, which is really detrimental a lot of the times, especially with all the aces we have access to, specifically that this guy gives you access to. And then opponent's turn once per turn. When an opponent's Digimon attacks, you may reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 black or yellow Digimon card with the play cost of 3 or less from them without paying the cost. Trash the rest. What's cool about this is both of these effects are optional, so like if I reveal like a Pillowmon or something and that's gonna hurt me more than my opponent, I can just choose not to play it. Or I can just choose not even to trigger this effect, so I'm like, I don't want to randomly trash cards off top of my deck and I don't need a level 3. But this guy is one of the best cards in the deck in my opinion. He's also in here for the Imperial matchup, but once I put him in and started testing him, like this guy is so disgusting. Taunt in general is broken, but also just combined with making things smaller, like this guy is just broken. Like I said, I think taunt is probably the most broken mechanic in the game, outside of I guess premium DP reduction, but that is it. We're playing 11 level 5s. Onto our Megas. You guessed it, we're playing 4 Dominimon. This is the sole reason for playing this deck. This card is obscenely broken. I'm astounded that I read this card multiple times and never realized how broken it was until I saw it in action next to Angelomon. So he does Evo for 4, but Evo's for 2 if you Evo into him from Magna Anons effect out of your security. When Digivolving, search your security stack. You may play a level 5 or lower Angel or Archangel trait without paying the cost. Shuffle your security stack, then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 7,000 DP for the turn. It'd be cool if that 7k was like repeatable every time like you touched your security, kind of like how BT14 Seraphi is, but not necessary for this card to be broken. All turns, when one of your Digimon with the Angel, Archangel, or Thruger Angel's trait would leave the battle area other than by one of your effects or battle, by trashing the top card of your security stack, prevent them from leaving. Also, rule trait has Angel type, so even though like he actually is a Dominion trait, he's an Angel, so he can protect himself. Very cool. So this is what protects you from 4 colors of the game. Blue, red, purple, and green have a really hard time dealing with this because basically none of their effects naturally have D-Evo or DP reduction, which is the only 2 outs to Dom. Besides, I mean, obviously you can just force them to trash all their security, but it's really hard to do that when you have multiple Angelomon sitting next to this guy that just recover back up. This guy is stupid broken. The fact that he just dunks on 4 colors of the game by himself, well, with Angelomon next to him, I think is actually the truly dunking, but he's just crazy. Like, this card was extremely slept on, especially by yours truly. I can't believe I didn't realize how broken this was without seeing it in action. This card is disgusting. And then on to our other level 6s. We're playing 4 Cherubs from EX6. Does have Alliance, which is really sick. It does Evo for 4 on top of all of our level 5s, but spoilers, you don't actually Evo into this guy. on your turn most of the time, and a lot of times if you do play this, you just hard play it for 7, and just like out something on your opponent's board and be like, hey, deal with this, and they don't deal with it, and you just swing with Alliance on the next turn. On play / when Digivolving, you may play 1 green or yellow level 4 or lower Digimon card from your hand without paying the cost. Then until the end of your opponent's turn, one of the Digimon gets minus 4,000 DP for each of your other Digimon. So this is also premium DP reduction. This with Angelwomon and I guess Edamon as well basically makes any Magna X matchup kind of free. I did run into a Magna X in round 9 at Dallas, and I burned through 3 of his Magnas on game 1 pretty easily. I never felt like I was in a bad position during that match. And then game 2 he braked and I won, but very good Mega. Also, Edamoning into this is pretty nice. And then we are also playing some Honorary Angels. 3 Valk from BT16 does Evo over 4 if we decide to Evo into it on our turn. Otherwise, it Evos for free. LOL. On play / when Digivolving, all of your opponent's Digimon get minus 5,000 DP for the turn. So he ruin mode your opponent. The only downside, I mean, if you can say it's a downside, is the fact that it's not premium, so it doesn't last until the end of their turn. But when you do go into this guy, it's going to devastate your opponent, especially if you Edamon them first and then force them to play into this. This card's disgusting because also, all turns once per turn, when a card is removed from your security stack, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 DP or lower. If this effect didn't delete, this Digimon gains security stack +1 until the end of your turn. So fun fact, for those of you that don't know, if this triggers on your opponent's turn and then on your turn, if it doesn't delete both times, it actually gets 2 extra checks. So you can swing for 3 checks with him, which is pretty cool. There's another thing that I put in for Imperial. Basically, anytime my opponent has like a Pyodramon setup, if I Edamon the Pyodramon and then Valk Ace the Pyodramon, the pile dies unless it has any kind of DP buffs, just from the DP reduction because it's -8 at that point. And then even if they partition, all of their stuff dies as well because it's still -5 count everything, and it basically just like turn skips them. This guy is super ignorant. Also, if he sits on the field, if your opponent can't out him but tries to out something else, whenever you trash a card for Dom's effect, his effect will trigger, so you can just pop something for free or just get an extra check. The only downside of this guy is the fact that he's not an angel, so you can't protect him with Dom, but he's still disgusting. Also, he's not a vaccine either. You're only playing him because he's basically, I think, probably the best yellow ace we have access to. Sorry, Cherub. But yeah, he's just absolutely disgusting. Closes games out for you. Just extremely broken. Well worth playing him even though he's not an angel. And that is it. We are playing 11 level 6s. On to our 7s. We are playing 1/7. Shine Greymon Burst Mode Ace. Does Evo over 5 on top of our stuff. If we do pay for it, whatever. Or you can hard play him from 8, which actually isn't even that bad a lot of the times, especially if you're popping an ace with his effect. On play / when Digivolving, you may play 1 Tamer card from your hand without paying the cost. Then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 5,000 DP for the turn for each of your Tamers. So if you have 2 Tamers set up, you can basically kill anything in the game with him because you can play a 3rd Tamer minus 15k. Very few things actually can withstand that. And then when attacking, by suspending up to 2 of your yellow Tamers for each one, this Digimon gains security attack +1 for the turn. So he can close out games for us. It is nice if you have nothing but 6s on the field and your opponent's like, I don't have to play around aces, and they swing at you. And you're like, nope, you still do, bro. But yeah, really good. I couldn't justify fitting 2 in here because he kind of has a tendency to clog your hand because a lot of times you won't go into him, so just sit in your hand for most of the game, but he's there when you need him. On to our Tamers. We are unfortunately playing 1 BT14 TK. On play, by returning the top card of your security stack to the hand, you may place 1 yellow card with a vaccine trait from your hand to the bottom of your security stack. Your turn, when a card is added to your security stack by suspending this Tamer, gain 1 memory. What's funny about this is, honestly, I don't know if I would even play 4 TKs in this deck, even if we had 4 of them, because of how good Cupimon is at setting your stuff up. Like, you literally don't need TK anymore, or this TK, I should say. This guy just replaces him, and you're just like Gucci. I just have to swing once, and I'm good. And I don't have to draw it, which is cool. But we are still going to play him because he is really good, and we have the room. And then I am playing 4 BT1 TK Takashi. He is a memory setter, and then on play, look at your security stack, reveal a card in it, add it to your hand if it was yellow, recover +1, and shuffle your security stack. The entire deck is yellow, so that's never going to not recover, which is cool. So as I said when talking about Patamon, knowing what's in your security is like one of the most important things early game in this deck. Because it tells you what pieces you're actually missing for the combo, because if some of them are in security, you don't actually need to get them in your hand, because you Evo out of security, you play out of security, you literally just need to have a Magna Anons in hand and Dom Angelwomon in your security already, and you're good. Or you can have any combination of those in your hand, and you just swing once, tuck Dom, and then you're good. But yeah, starting the game with knowing what's in your security is very important, so that's why we're playing for this. Guarantees your set to 3, adds a card to your hand, tells you what's in your security for the rest of the game. What more could you ask for? And then we are playing one more Tamer to support the Shine Greymon Burst mode specifically, is why I actually fit it in. We are playing one Tai and Kari from BT9. Start of your turn if you have 3 or fewer security cards, gain 1 memory. If your opponent has 3 or fewer, gain 1 memory. Your turn, when one of your red or yellow Digimon attacks, you may suspend this Tamer to have all of your opponent's security Digimon get minus 2,000 DP for the turn. So it makes our swings a little bit safer with all of our stuff. I considered TK and Kari for this from EX6 that gives yellow Digimon barrier for the turn, but I felt like this is better for like all of your swings if you see one of this. It's not just like one Digimon that has barrier every turn. It's basically like everybody's 2k bigger. It also gives you extra memory a lot of the time. But yeah, that is it. We were just playing 6 Tamers. And then on to our options. 4 yellow memory boost. Main, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add a yellow Digimon. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck. Put this in your battle area. Main, delay. Trash it. Get 2 memories. Security, place it in the battle area. Consistency is one of my favorite things in decks, so you're probably always going to see me play the maximum amount of boosts I can play in a deck, unless for some reason I don't have the room, but I would be shocked if I came across a deck like that, or one that just doesn't really work with, like a hybrid deck, for instance. But that is it, just 4 options. Alright, and here is the Wombo combo of the deck, the thing that you're trying to do basically every game. It isn't necessary to set this up, but it's the easiest way to set up the lock, as I like to call it. So let's say you promote, Evo into this guy for free, or just hard Evo into him, who cares. Swing security, add the top card of your security to your hand, and then you just tuck Dom in there, put him in there. Gain memory off pad if you haven't already gained it this turn. The only thing he can die to is options, otherwise you can barrier. But spoilers, even if he does die, it doesn't matter because our level 5 is an on-play / vintage evolving. But it's just more memory efficient if he does survive. And you Evo into this guy for 3 memory. He looks in your security, Evos into Dom for 2 memory, and then if you don't already have an Angelwomon in your security, you can tuck it off the Magna Anons, and then Dom effect triggers, plays Angelwomon out. Angelwomon actually sees herself come out, so she will recover if you're at 3 or fewer at that point, which will happen a lot of the time. And then Dom minus 7k, and if you want to trigger her effect, you can trash a card to minus another 6k to 13k something. And then your opponent has to deal with this board, which is very difficult to deal with, especially if they can't safely swing into you because you have access to several really good ace cards. And worst case scenario, you can actually just block with your Angelwomon. And then once that turn is over, if your Dom is standing, you kind of want to leave him standing the rest of the game and force your opponent to suspend and run over it if they're trying to do that. And then you just widen your board with cherubs. You Valk them occasionally. You play other Angelwomons once you see them, and it makes it that much harder for your opponent to deal with this. Once this is established versus 4 of the 6 colors of the game, it is extremely challenging for them to win the game at that point. It does take you a couple turns to set up a lethal board, and by that I do mean just a few turns. Like, eventually, once you win with this deck, if you're playing it correctly, you'll have a board of like 6 or 7 Digimon, a lot of cherubs out and stuff like that. And Cherub is basically the main one you want to swing for damage with, because you can swing and then like tap your Angelwomon and it's 19k for 2 checks. And then they try to swing over your Angelwomon that's suspended, you just ace into another Cherub or a Valk or whatever, punish them severely, then you just swing out. Like, it's very easy to lethal once you just have this on the field for like, I would say like 2 to 3 turns. But yeah, if you haven't encountered this, this is an insanely broken lock. The only way to beat it is DP reduction or de-evo, or somehow burn through 4 to 5 security cards in a single turn. Because even if you get them to 0 with this lockout, if they have any kind of recovery card, they're going to make it that much harder for you to break it the next turn because you've expended so many resources the turn prior. Do not sleep on this deck. I think Angels is S tier, tier 1, whatever. I think the fact that it just straight dunks on 4 of the 6 colors is insane. It does make DP reduction and de-evo, I wouldn't even say bad matchups. They're just the matchups that you can't just go into this and just be like, LOL, I win now. Whereas that's basically what happens when you do this versus 4 of the 6 colors. Is just like, go into this and you're like, okay, smooth sailing from here, GG. I apologize this wasn't posted sooner. I actually got kind of sick when we got back from Dallas. I don't know if you can still hear it in my voice. I think I have like some kind of sinus infection or something. I'm feeling better, but still recovering from it. I did go X2-1 in 9 rounds in Dallas. Ended up losing and drawing to 2 decks that I should have won theoretically versus. Just had a little bit of bad RNG. The other loss, I lost to a blue hybrid player playing Heaven's Judgment, which is DP reduction, so like he was actually able to have outs to my board. But if you guys are curious about my other matchups, I did discuss it in the Dallas Regional Recap podcast. So if you guys want to check that episode out, I do go over them. But if you take anything away from this video, just know angels are broken. Do not sleep on them. They are extremely powerful. But if you guys have any questions, anything I didn't address, feel free to leave them down in the comments. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. Want to come back for more. But until next time, see ya.